welcome to Science Fiction Reads. I've got something a little different today. I bid on a bunch of 50's pulp magazines in an online auction. Each was a separate auction, and I won 45 of these. There was maybe 60 total, so I lost out on a few galaxies and analogs and stuff, mostly from the 60s and 70s. I think I won pretty much everything from the 50s. Various magazines, some I'm not so familiar with. Each of them is in a little paper bag, so I haven't actually opened any more than just the two here. And I thought I'd go through them with you and take a look at these. Some of these, like this, Amazing, are in rough shape, but a lot were not too bad. And most of these I got for $1 each. So let's see here. This is a very rough 30th anniversary issue. I'll do my best to have this centered on the camera. April 1956. Oh, predictions for 2001. That's cool. But the actual stories. Wacky World by Edmund Hamilton. And, oh, the Jameson Satellite is in here by Neil R. Jones. I've talked about these. And a Raymond Galloon. That's cool. I read the best of Raymond Galloon with Richard and Ira, and we absolutely loved it. So that's 222. But let's look at the Jameson Satellite, Neil R. Jones. That's the first story in his Professor Jameson stories, which were about a scientist who basically cryogenically froze himself and was revived millions of years later by these traveling robots called the Zorums. Oh, that's awesome. I would love to have the first appearance of this in a story, but because I think these first came out in the 40s. No, Amazing Stories, July 1931. And yeah, the Zorums find Professor Jameson in his own tomb circling the Earth up in orbit, and they revive him, and he joins them on many journeys. They were all, oh, not all, but most of them were published later in some Ace paperbacks from the 60s, which I have. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And what was the Raymond Galloon? The Eternal Wall. I'm not sure if this was in the best of, but might be in a short story collection that I bought afterwards. All right, that's cool. There's only the two that I've opened so far, and I know there was an Edmund Hamilton in there. There's a really cool magazine coming up with cover art of his that really caught my eye when I saw this online auction. So Infinity Science Fiction from August 1950 something, 56. Randall Garrett. Oh, there's a Harlan Ellison and a Silverberg. Silverberg, 111. The Final Challenge. So some very early Silverberg, if this is the 50s. I'll be spending a lot of time looking these up to see if I have anything particularly rare or special. I know I've got pretty neat Alfred Bester coming up. All right, so let's actually start opening these. Okay, so there's 45 total. 2 of them are not pulp magazines. They are old novels. This is one of them, Frederick Brown, What Mad Universe by Bantam Books. So this was first published in '49. And this is a first printing from 1950. Cool. I was surprised. There was, like, from what I could tell, maybe 2 other people bidding on the science fiction stuff. And nobody went for this or the other novel. Oh. The 2 novels were side by side. This is The House That Stood Still by A.E. Van Vogt. A Harlequin book. 35 cents. I was thinking it meant Harlequin romance, which didn't make sense to me, but it's a Harlequin edition, published June 1952. Printed in Canada. I saw 1 copy of this on eBay for an outrageous price. Because I believe it's first edition. Yeah, so I think that's the only 2 books. The rest should be 40 plus magazines. Universe, 1955. I think Universe was a fairly short run magazine in the 50s. Santa Claus Planet by Frank M. Robinson. I read a novel of his from the 80s or 90s last year. And then I bought a novel of his from the 60s, which involved like psi powers and stuff. But I did not read that yet. Before the Fact, Zena Henderson, Frank M. Robinson, The Santa Claus Planet. '76. Now, I'm not very knowledgeable on the old pulp magazines. I just love collecting them, so I'm really not sure how interesting this video is going to be. Because a lot of these guys and ladies are going to be unfamiliar to me. I'm really only going to recognize the bigger names, like Zena Henderson. That's cool. I don't have any Universe magazines. It's issue number 8 maybe. I don't have any of these either. Authentic Science Fiction, 35 cents. Featured novel of this month, The Best Laid Scheme by Calvin Strike. Calvin Strike, not a name I'm familiar with, but it sounds like a pen name. I'm doing a terrible job of holding this in the camera. The Best Laid Scheme, yeah, Calvin Strike, and it's short stories. Yeah, I don't recognize any of these authors. Let's see. Authentic ran in the 50s for 85 issues. I just have a couple pages open on the computer to refer to, but The Best Laid Scheme. There's a few of these authentics which caught my eye because they're so different looking. That's cool. Oh, there's another one. Number 46. This month's featured novel, Savior, by Brian Barry. Short stories, Dan Morgan, MC Woodhouse. Yeah, these are all unfamiliar names. What I should do is look them up online right beside me and see if they are pen names and whatnot. Yeah, I like the look of these authentics. And another one, number 45, this month's featured novel, Some Other Time, by Kenneth Balmer. There's a familiar name. Short stories by E.C. Tubb, George Paul Mann, Graham Winslow. I did notice something on the back about the covers trying to be authentic, depicting possible future space exploration. Okay, let's see here. E.C. Tubb, Death Deferred. Oh, wow. That's cool. That might be it for the authentics. I knew there was at least 3, maybe 4. Galaxy 1953. Is Artificial Life Possible, by Willie Lay. Robert Sheckley. Book-length series. Oh, number 2 of The Caves of Steel by Asimov. Now that's cool. Features by Groff Conklin, H.L. Gold, 2 popular editors. Let's check out the Asimov in 98. Very cool. Part 2 of 3. Other Worlds, Science Stories. October 1952. I looked this up as well. Raymond Palmer launched Other Worlds, Science Stories, November 49, and changed the title in 52 to Other Worlds. Definitely don't have any Other Worlds, but very cool cover art. By S.J. Byrne. Now this one is, wow. Oh wow, very fragile. Edward Jacobs, Richard Shaver, T.P. Caravan. Oh, 2-page feature by L. Sprague de Camp. That's about the only name in an article. The Continents, The Story of Atlantis. Let's check that out. 117. Some of these I'll be listing to eBay, as always. I almost never buy a huge lot of books without planning to make my money back. Cool. is really cool art. Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction. Certainly got a bunch of these. Heinlein, Sheckley. Star Lumix, conclusion of a Heinlein story. I think I chose that one just for the cover art. When I picked these up, it was in the guy's garage, and these all smell like paint thinner and motor oil. That is one downside, actually. I didn't expect that. Fantastic Universe Science Fiction. Complete short novel by Lester Del Rey. September 54. Frank Mellencamp Long. Oh, Marion Zimmer Bradley. John Jakes. The only thing I've read by John Jakes was Mention My Name in Atlantis, which was like a comedy science fiction. This is one of the ones falling apart. Half the fun is just looking at the art. Alright, I should speed this up. This video is going to be way too long here. The original science fiction stories. Warp Shot's Demon by Frederick Pohl. I've not heard of that one. Frederick Pohl, James Blish, Randall Garrett, Silverberg, Elsprague de Camp, Damon Knight, holy, July 1956. I'm quite excited to read some of these Silverbergs. The Lonely One. Author of The Desiccator. Astounding Science Fiction, January 55. The Darf Stellar by Walter M. Miller Jr. That could be worth checking out. Sounds good. Field Expedient, Chad Oliver. Oh, anything by Chad Oliver is awesome. I think he was a trained anthropologist, and his stories often involve anthropologists as the protagonists. Illustrated by Kelly Freias. Hard to tell, but I believe there's the reflection of a spacecraft there. Cool. Smells like motor oil. Science Fiction Stories, March. Now that is some cool cover art. We've got some Earthmen. Looks like they've been caught off guard by some Martians or something. Boyd Ellenby. R.E. Banks. I think Ward Moore is the only author I've heard of here. And for all I know, that's a pen name. I really don't know. Not sure how many issues of science fiction stories there were. Volume 5, number 5. Lots of booktubers out there that know a lot more about these than I do. Orbit Science Fiction with The Last Masters by Philip K. Dick. And another channel over, and we've got Gordon R. Dixon. August Derleth as well. Let's check out the Philip K. Dick, 32. The Last of the Masters. Definitely got to check that one out. Oh, Jack Vance. Oh, I missed that. Awesome. So it's got some big names in it. Rough shape, but actually, to be honest, so far these are rougher than I expected. Might not make my money back after all, but still fun. These are so fun to have, and I don't have many from the 50s. Astounding Science Fiction. The First Martian. December 1952. Now that's actually in decent shape for 1952. Me and Flapjack and the Martians by Mac Reynolds and Frederick Brown. And a Robert Sheckley. Oh, geez, more Asimov, The Currents of Space. Which I think I've read the novel. February 1953, Imagination, Stories of Science and Fantasy. Piper in the Woods, Philip K. Dick, 6,500 words. Jeez. This one is fragile. Men Becoming Plants. Now that sounds good. I feel like I've read something like that by Philip K. Dick recently, actually, but it was not titled Piper in the Woods. That's cool, but this is disintegrating and really smells like paint thinner or something. I think I could put them in a box with baking soda, probably. Revolt of the Outworlds by Milton Lesser. Another imagination. Another Philip K. Dick, Strange Eden. 66. Awesome. The Vegans Were Curious by Winston Marks. I have a feeling this video is going to be way too long. Maybe I should have just done a regular book haul style. I don't know if this is interesting to anyone since I'm not knowledgeable on these things. The Giants from Outer Space, Jeff St. Renard. Wow, look at that art. Grim Terror. I like how they tell you how many words are in each of these. Robert Sheckley, Off Limits Planet, page 70. Basically just geeking out on the art. Wow. Okay, now here's one that, the thing that originally caught my eye. This universe from 54, but it's got the Edmund Hamilton cover art, I assume. Starman Come Home, a novel you'll never forget. I'm probably gonna frame this. I haven't read a lot of Edmund Hamilton. I read his best of, which didn't involve too much of his early space opera that he's really known for, which this looks like that's probably what this is, but I love what I've read of his so far. And this art and the fact that it's in pretty good condition is awesome. But what else do we have in here? Oh, let's just look at the... Wow. Maybe I don't want to read it if there's spider children. That's kind of a turnoff. I have seen Raj Phillips appear quite a few times so far in these magazines. Not someone I've read. That is cool. That is the one that really caught my eye. And nobody else bid on it. I got it for $1. That's Vincent Price making an appearance. So that's one of the highlights for me. The original science fiction stories. Spaceman's Van Gogh, Clifford Simak. The Mythological Background by Elsprague de Camp. Let's check that out quick. Elsprague de Camp is fun. The Spaceman's Van Gogh. Cool. That'd be one worth reading. This is a Galaxy. Oh, Galaxy novel. Galaxy novel number 24, Lest Darkness Fall by Elsprague de Camp. Okay, I forgot about this. So technically a novel. I have seen these before, but I don't think I've ever owned one. Cool. 1949. Is this from 49? Wow. A hilarious, fast-moving novel of a situation that could not happen to you. Wow. That's neat. Fantastic science fiction. John Wyndham. Hal Ellison. Richard Matheson. Paul Anderson. Evelyn Smith. Christmas on Mars. The Doll That Does Everything by Matheson. Give us some art to admire. Come on. John Wyndham, Compassion Circuit. Oh, Another Universe, November 1954. Special No Species Alone by Tom Godwin. Judith Merrill. No Species Alone. That sounds familiar, but Tom Godwin. Wow, look at that art. Judith Merrill. Connection completed. Let's just look up Raj Phillips here. A name I have seen many times before. 1909 to 1966. Nominated for the Hugo for Best Novelette in 1959. Had a few pseudonyms. Oh yeah, this one, fantastic science fiction. I don't know who Dick Purcell is, but the cover art, my God. Let's hope we get some credit inside for the author, or the artist, because that is awesome. Not that I can see. There's a Frank Herbert in here. Oh, cover, Edward Veligersky. Yes, that is a name I've seen before. That is just amazing. And what year are we looking at? Mid-50s? 55. So I looked up Dick Purcell. Looks like he did 6 short stories from 55 to 56. That's it. And he got, oh, Jesus, right here. Here I am Googling. Well, if interested, I'll leave that. You can pause that and read that. I'm going to read that afterward, but very cool. So Frank Herbert, page 53. What did he write? Occupation Force. Were these the feared invaders from space? The Smashers. It really is a shame. Every one of these smells like paint thinner or motor oil, a little both. Okay, we've got a larger format here. Startling Stories. The Naked Sky, a novel by James E. Gunn. Wow, this just looks and feels so cool. Thinking this is going to be pretty early on. Oh no, 55. The city was full of people, but the man from Venus and the girl from the ruins were the last two living creatures. I'm going to have to read that. That's awesome. And we've got 7 short stories. Margaret St. Leclerc, Mac Reynolds. Cover painting, EMSH. Wow. This is my preferred size for these. When they're this size, they just look and feel so awesome. So The Naked Sky advertised as a full novel. So yeah, pretty long. That's very cool. You couldn't tell from the pictures online which of these were going to be a larger format. God, that is really awesome. And another one here, featuring Spaceman Lost, a novel by George O. Smith, who I think would be the author of the Venus Equilateral stories, which I have not yet got to, but these sound really cool. Just curious if Spaceman Lost is in there. Nope. Okay, what do we got here? Fall 54, wow. Spaceman Lost. Illustrated by Virgil Finlay, one of the greats. So, Spaceman Lost in this larger size is going to run you about 70 pages, 69 pages. Hey, the collected works of Zane Grey. Find them on Facebook Marketplace. And we've still got some of these bigger ones. This is awesome. Featuring Troubled Star by George O. Smith. Nope. Fletcher Pratt. Isaac Asimov, The Monkey's Fingers. Not familiar with that one. Damon Knight. Illustrated 2-page poem by Philip Jose Farmer, 106. Wow. Look at that. Very cool. And they're still coming, wow. Oh man, this one's probably the best so far, art-wise. Featuring Asylum Earth by Bruce Elliott. And The Guided Man by L. Sprague de Camp. Wow. Look at that. Oh, The Guided Man. Shit, I've read that. That was in the best of. I read that with Ira and Richard. It took some strange turns. Really made you wonder what the hell the author was thinking. Yeah. Yeah, we read that. That is awesome. Grave Song, Walter Miller Jr. Wow. Phyllis Sterling Smith. It's going to be fun looking up some of these people. Wow, those are very, very cool. So there's 4 of them so far. We got another. Well of the Worlds, Henry Kuttner. Hell yes. Things of Distinction. Great title. Wow. Complete novel. The Well of the Worlds. Corridor between 2 worlds, between Earth and the floating islands of the Aesir, godlike rulers of Kamad. Let me see here. I thought that sounded familiar. So I have an Ace reprint from the 60s. Cool. Let's take a look here. Chad Oliver, Lady Killer. Okay, let's check out. Wow. Awesome. I'm really liking the Startling Stories cover art. Got another one here. featuring Moth and Rust by Philip Jose Farmer. Sequel to The Lovers. Wow, movie review, The Magnetic Monster. Lots of excellent products. Well, that's been a real surprise. I did not realize those were going to be a larger format. They're still coming. And this is a different publication. Fantastic. Got Edmund Hamilton. Oh, Murray Leinster. Elsprague de Camp. A Yank at Valhalla. Wow, this one's 1953. Elsprague de Camp, The Merman. There's another one that the three of us read. And Murray Leinster, The Eternal Now. Wow. This one's kind of hard to flick through. I just wanted to take a look at the Leinster. The Eternal Now. Okay, here's the one that caught my eye along with the Edmund Hamilton cover. 1952 Galaxy, The Demolished Man by Alfred Bester. Only part one. I haven't looked it up yet to see how many parts there are. It's not going to tell us. Well, who else is in here? Frank M. Robinson, who I've read a little of. H.L. Gold, Groff Coppola. Okay, so let's see how many parts. The Demolished Man, 3-part serial. Classic novel that I read early on, about 10 years ago when I first started reading science fiction. So this is the one I paid the most for because somebody else wanted it, and I paid a total of $9. So not too bad. I don't think they had the next issues that would have had the other parts. Still very cool to see where this came from. Oh, that is so cool. This This is the copy I read, a Nelson Doubleday Book Club edition. So yeah, 1952, that's probably the earliest of any of these magazines. I don't know why it has a 1965 stamp all over it. Cool. We're getting down there. Spaceway Science Fiction from 1955. I thought I had looked this one up. First series had 8 issues from 53 to 55. And the second series had 4 issues from 69 to 70. So not a long-running magazine. Oh, Van Vogt on Dianetics. Jesus. The Towers of Silence, George H. Smith. Forrest Ackerman. Yeah, A. Van Vogt, 1940, or page 43. A.E. Van Vogt, who famously took a break from writing because he got involved in Dianetics. That could be an interesting read. George H. Smith, not to be confused with George O. Smith. Worlds of If. New space thriller, Avoidance Situation by James McConnell. And a bunch of more familiar names. Oh. Okay, well this one is absolutely falling apart. July 1953. Wow. It's in not bad shape. Let's see what we have inside here. Jack Vance, page 4. Oh yeah, this one is kind of fragile as well. All right, got maybe 10 or a little less left here. 1954, June. Oh, look at that. Oh, so this one's missing the front. So I'm not sure what's in there, but oh yeah. All right, so these are rough. No strings attached. I saw a Fritz Leiber in here somewhere. Snaring the Human Mind. Oh, a biting new satire about the integrated man of tomorrow, the happy herd. James E. Gunn. Oh, Philip K. Dick. 88. Blessed Are the Murderous by Ivar Jorgensen. Ivar Jorgensen was a pseudonym used by a lot of people. The only one I can think of at the moment is Silverberg. And Battleground by William Morrison. Oops. William Morrison, 26. I don't know why that sounds familiar. No, that's not what I'm thinking of. Milton Lesser is someone who showed up a lot in these and others that I own. Someone I should look into. The Revenge of Edwin Mudd. John Jakes. All right, we're almost done. It's funny, different books on UFOs. Oh, wow. A World Called Crimson by Darius John Granger. (1956). The Hunted Heroes, 1964. I think that's in a short story collection of his that I picked up the other day, but didn't end up reading. Cool. Looks like the villain is somebody in a wheelchair with a gun. I think I'm most excited about all these Philip K. Dick and Robert Silverberg stuff. And some of the Edmund Hamilton. Two more. The Scarlet Saint by probably Manly Wade. Oh, I can't think of the name now. Oh, Manly Bannister. Part 1. Hole in the Air by Robert Silverberg. And he probably wrote the Jorgensen story as well. 62. Oops. All right, and number 45. I feel like I've seen this cover art before. Plague Planet by Ivar Jorgensen. And yeah, nothing that really jumps out at me, but if anybody's still watching after an hour, I hope it wasn't too boring. I just enjoyed looking through these. And now I'll have to look through them some more, do a little research online, and read a couple of these. But yeah, I think that was worth it. Overall, I did not really pay too much money for these. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.